Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing a fall TBR, and as you may have seen from my previous TBR videos, I am trying to get through all the books that I currently own and are sitting on my bookshelf, so that way I can, purchase more books before reading everything else, or after reading everything else. There we go. And the only reason I would be able to buy another book is if there is a sequel to a book that I currently own. That has happened quite a bit recently. I'm either unaware or just didn't check to see if the book had a sequel or was a trilogy. So I usually end up buying the sequel to the book. So I have a fair amount of books right here that I'm going to be putting on my TBR. Hopefully with kind of being more inside, I'll be reading more, going on the subway more, as well as we have a fall break coming up in November, which will be a good time to read. So without further ado, let's get into the books on my fall TBR. The first books that I will be reading, and please do not judge me for this, but I have not read this series since I was in 6th grade, so I figured it would be a good time to reread them, as well as it's kind of getting into like fall vibes, and I don't know, like books like this as well as Harry Potter seem to be like a time to read them during the fall is the best time to read. So the series that I'm going to start after I finish the book I'm currently on is the Twilight series. So I have Twilight and New Moon. I got these both at the New York Public Library. So I'm planning on reading through these and seeing everything that I missed when I read them when it was like, how many years ago? It was a while ago. It was like 13 years ago. So I obviously missed a lot because I read it when I was in 6th grade, and you miss a lot when you're young. So I'm curious to see everything that I missed. So hopefully everyone knows the synopsis of the Twilight series, so I won't have to go through that. Sorry Not Sorry by Sophie Ranald. I'll just read the back really quickly, and it says, Charlotte has always been a good girl, but being good is getting boring. She's not just stuck in a rut, she's buried in it up to her chin. The only company she has in bed is the back catalog of Netflix, and falling in love feels like the stuff of fairy tales. So when she stumbles across the popular podcast Sorry Not Sorry, which challenges women to embrace their inner bad girl, she jumps at the chance to shake things up. Very excited to read this. I remember I was a find at a book thrift store, so I'm super excited. Even though it seems like a summary book, but I'm going to read it now because it was next up on my list. Next, I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I have not read all of his books, but I've read a fair amount and I've enjoyed all of them, so I figured I might as well read it. And a little bit of the synopsis. 16-year-old Asa never intended to pursue the mystery of fugitive billionaire Russell Pickett, but there's a $100,000 reward at stake, and her best and most fearless friend Daisy is eager to investigate. So together they navigate the short distance and broad divides that separates them from Russell Pickett's son Davis. Asa is trying. She's trying to be a good daughter, a good friend, a good student, and maybe even a good detective, while also living within the ever-tightening spiral of her own thoughts. I'm very curious to read this because I still don't understand what it's about, so I'm very ready. Next, we have Shakespeare, A Midsummer Night's Dream. I took a Shakespeare class back in high school and I had some Shakespeare books, but I've never actually read A Midsummer Night's Dream, so I figured I might as well read it. Hold for siren. After the Shakespeare, I will be reading Barack Obama's memoir or biography, I don't remember the word for it, A Promised Land. I read Becoming by Michelle Obama, so I'm very, very excited to finally get to this book. It's a pretty thick book, so I'll probably be reading it for a while. And I tend to not like nonfiction books, so I really hope I do like this, because I pretty much, I would say I enjoy reading Becoming, and that was fascinating learning everything about it, all the stuff behind that, so it'll be very interesting to read Barack Obama's biography, memoir, or however we want to call it. The Laurel Olympus duology, probably trilogy, but right now it's a duology by Rachel Smythe. So if you don't know, this was created, let's see, It was created as a comic. I forget on what website it was a comic for, and then it gained so much traction that they created the comics and put them into books. So I have the first two. I believe there's only two, there might be three, I'm not sure yet, but if you still don't know what Laurel Olympus is about, it's basically the story of Hades and Persephone, and just like a kind of not modernized version of the story, but still like with the gods and goddesses and everything. So I'm very excited to read these. And lastly, I feel like this is the only book that's really fall themed, but I'm very excited to read this. I got this back a while ago, but it was a new read and I wanted to get another book because I think the book was like buy one get one half off. So I got Greenwich Park by Katherine Faulkner. I'm not sure what this is about, so I'll read it to you. It says, Helen's idyllic life, handsome architect husband, gorgeous Victorian house, and cherished baby on the way after years of trying, begins to change the day she attends her first prenatal class and meets Rachel, an unpredictable single mother-to-be. Rachel doesn't seem very maternal. She smokes, drinks, and professes little interest in parenthood. Still, Helen is drawn to her. Maybe Rachel just needs a friend. And to be honest, Helen's a bit lonely herself. At least Rachel's fun to be with. She makes Helen laugh, invites her confidences, and distracts her from her fears. But Rachel's increasingly erratic behavior is unsettling, and Helen's not the only one who's noticed. Her friends and family begin to suspect that her strange new friend may be linked to their shared history in unexpected ways. When Rachel threatens to expose a past crime that could destroy all their lives, it becomes clear that there are more than a few secrets lying beneath the broad-leaved trees and warm lamplight of Greenwich Park. And I'm fairly certain, I'm not 100%, but I'm fairly certain it's based in New York. But I'm really excited. Because I now work in New York and I frequent there a lot. I don't live in New York right now, but I live in Jersey. So I just feel like I like reading New York-based books more because I've been to a fair amount of the places that are mentioned in the book, so it's really cool to see how they bring about New York in the books, which is different because a lot of TV shows kind of idealize New York City, and obviously it's not what you see on TV, so I'm very excited to read this book. It seems really cool, and I was just glancing through and I really like the setup of the book as well. And that was every book on my fall TBR. Now I may not get to every single book before winter time, but I like to have a good stack of books ready to go. I obviously have my whole entire bookshelf to go through, but I do my best to read as much as I can. And if you want to follow along with me and see how I feel about books, see my ratings and what books I'm reading or what books are on my TBR that may not be on my bookshelf, go ahead and follow me on Storygraphs. I'll have it linked down below. Make sure y'all like the video if you liked it. Comment down below what books are on your current TBR and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this or vlogs, and I'll see y'all in my next one.
1, 2, 3, funky. My darling, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.